Continuing their tradition of creating violent 2D games with striking, cartoony art, Klei Entertainment has now released Mark of the Ninja for Xbox Live Arcade. This $15 stealth game shares visual similarities with its predecessors, Shank 1 and 2, but is a much more ambitious title than those simpler but very fun action games. Methodical 2D stealth gameplay might not sound as exciting as creating machete, chainsaw, and shotgun combos, but this unique game dares to say sneaking around can be very enthralling. In Mark of the Ninja, you'll be playing as a tattooed super ninja with a helpful female companion. His tattoo imbues him with superhuman agility and strength, along with other abilities later on, but you are warned that the special ink eventually causes insanity. You set out on a retaliatory mission against heavily armed mercs who attacked your home, but you're told from the outset that you must kill yourself at the end of this mission, before your mind is lost. It's an interesting, if somewhat shallow story that really works. I found some of its twists to be predictable, but I appreciated that there was more to this tale than go here, kill people, sneaky good times. Hand-drawn cutscenes bookend each level and occasionally break up your mission to relay bits of the story. These are generally well animated and give this game a lot of personality. As a sneaky ninja, straight-up combat isn't really a viable option most of the time, so remaining undetected is paramount. While getting your stealth on, Mark of the Ninja displays pertinent information in a unique and easy-to-understand fashion. Sound you make is denoted by expanding blue circles. Enemies' last known locations are marked with red silhouettes, and areas your character is unaware of are blurry and dark. If your ninja doesn't have line of sight on a foe, they won't appear on screen, so thoughtful navigation is imperative. You'll need to peek out of vents or lean against doors to assess areas before entering them, making moment-to-moment gameplay potentially very exciting. The game is broken up into discrete missions with multiple objectives that take place in fairly large levels. These stages are reminiscent of Shadow Complex or Metroid, but unlike those games, they are not connected as part of one immense playable area. That's not a bad thing at all. Each level features multiple paths you can use to tackle objectives, and after completing a mission, you can replay that area to try different tactics, find collectibles, or take on challenge rooms. Every area has been thoughtfully constructed to reward exploration and experimentation. In some missions, you will even be able to choose the order in which you complete objectives. Completing level-specific challenges, getting past enemies undetected, and finding artifacts all award points that are tabulated at the end of each mission. These translate into currency you can use to buy new abilities and upgrade your arsenal. Abilities range from being able to take out an enemy while perched underneath them to quieter footsteps. You'll also gain access to darts, smoke bombs, and deadly spring-loaded spikes. Customizing your loadout and taking on creatively designed challenges in your own way is immensely satisfying. It's clear a lot of thought went into this game's design, and the result is an original experience that really makes you feel like a ninja. From footsteps to barking dogs to screaming guards, everything in Mark of the Ninja's sound design works very well. Each of these sounds has a range, and since you'll need to pay attention to how noisy you're being, their solid implementation is much appreciated. Individual sound effects are mixed in a way that makes each sonic occurrence stand out, so you can easily discern every individual noise in any given situation. The voice acting here is solid, but not really remarkable. It's better than Dust, but not as good as the Walking Dead episodes.
Unusually aggressive. They say it can drive you mad, but I'm not so sure. I've never seen anyone live long enough to find out.
Music sets a great mood, sounding merely ominous most of the time, but quickly turning frenetic and percussive when you were spotted by enemies.
Hey, shit, it's him!
There are a couple of tracks that sound particularly great, but music knows when to stay in the background and always feels appropriate. Sound effects, voices, and music all merge in a functional and immersive way that isn't mind-blowing, but is very, very good. I have to admit that I really did not like the look of Mark of the Ninja when I first started playing. Large portions of the screen were blurry, my character was changing colors, and the backgrounds looked dull. Then I realized I was an idiot. Since the game only shows you what your character is aware of, areas he can't see are blurred out. His character model changes color to let you know whether or not he's in the shadows. Also, the backgrounds get more interesting as you progress through the game. Mark of the Ninja's visual design puts a great deal of emphasis on being functional. After a few minutes, I got used to the shifting blurriness and really started to like how this game looked. Characters sport thick black lines in a cartoony style that makes their brutal interactions seem more graphic than those in games with a less exaggerated style. Also, while I personally don't care for the look of the first level, the areas you traverse grow more and more visually striking as you move through this game. Some later areas in particular feature nice flourishes like lightning and sandstorms. While Mark of the Ninja's unique style might not appeal to everyone, this game is remarkable for looking as good as it does while conveying so much information visually. This is a tactical stealth game through and through. While you can learn a couple different kicks and even perform simple one-button combos, combat is not the focus here. Ideally, you will be sneaking past enemies or taking them out undetected. While close to an unsuspecting foe, you can hit X to initiate a stealth kill. A prompt will come up telling you to hit X again along with a direction on the left stick. Getting it right will reward you with a silent kill. Getting it wrong will usually still net a kill, but your victim will call out, alerting anyone nearby. You also have the ability to slow time and mark targets with darts, smoke bombs, and other items that can be used to deactivate electronics or distract/kill enemies. This gives you time to plan out strategies and allows for some of this game's more interesting moments. Moving around as a ninja is fluid and controls well, but it's not handled like a typical platformer. While you will use A to jump and hold the right trigger to run, your ninja kind of sticks to objects. For instance, while running at a grate, you will need to tap A to open it, as opposed to your character simply sliding past it into a vent. This breaks up movement just enough to give you the time to potentially assess what's on the other side and decide on your next move. Besides basic running, climbing, and jumping, you will also have access to a grappling hook that can be used to quickly access specific perches. From these points you can dangle, drop, or simply move to another point. All of these systems work well, but getting used to moving around will take a minute. You will likely end up in a cycle of finding a good vantage point, observing enemies, then setting up kills. This never gets old, and properly dispatching a group of mercs without being spotted is very gratifying. There are some basic puzzles and cleverly designed room layouts that break things up, but the focus here is definitely on taking people out or just getting past them. Tight controls and well-implemented systems that reward planning and patience make Mark of the Ninja a delight to play. Getting to the end of this violent story takes around 5 hours. There are artifacts to find and challenge rooms to figure out that add to this game's length, and beating Mark of the Ninja unlocks a new Game Plus mode. This mode allows you to keep all of your abilities in gear while amping up the difficulty substantially. On top of that, you can also replay individual levels to go for higher scores that are displayed on the leaderboards. Enemies are smart enough to make going through areas again fun, if only to let you try out different techniques and try to improve your ranking. While some sort of multiplayer mode or maybe a couple more areas to tackle would have been welcome, they aren't necessarily missed. If you like trying to improve your tactics or going for all of the collectibles and item upgrades available, Mark of the Ninja will keep you coming back again and again.